Right, let's kick off this rambling recap with a little bit of waiting list love. I finally decided what I'm going to do with the waiting list races to try and encourage more people to join, and that's this. However many people join the race, that's the maximum number of points you can score. Up to a maximum of 15, simply because I don't want to make a new graphic to fit any more in, but also because I don't want it to be possible for the waiting list drivers to outscore a Division 4 winner. So for example, in a race with 5 people, such as race 1 of season 2 on Tom Pearson's Vinewood Vibe, Supply GTA won the race and had already picked up 5 points, unbeknownst to him, which will be added to his total points for the overall standings. In a race of 15 people or more, the points will go from 15 to 1 for the top 15, and then 0 points from 16th to 30th, should we get so many, with the fastest lap picking up 1 extra point, just like Thol did in this race. Hopefully this will give drivers on the waiting list an incentive to join the races because, as you can see from the result of race 2 here, it has been quite difficult to garner interest in the race when there's nothing to really drive for. I have to give a big shout out to It's Me Chatty, who has attended most of the waiting list races so far. He's streamed them and uploaded them in full to his YouTube channel, so I've been able to catch up with all the action. Thank you so much for doing that, Chatty. I hope you like your small reward and can find yourself on the overall standings at the end of the video. That wraps up the waiting list coverage. Let's move on to Division 1 from IDEKA Trial Run. Yes, that's right, your eyes are not deceiving you. I actually won a race in Children of the Mountain Division 1. It's only taken me 12 races to do it, and I was very, very pleased. But still, I was chased hard. I mean, you only have to look as far as second place to find Wes7, who drove from 15th on the grid to get that, and he accredits it to the rain as well. Likewise, Macy was just out there having fun, loving every second of it. Go check out his highlights and commentary as well. I usually link some of these videos in the description. So yeah, the 3 drivers who came out of the race saying they absolutely loved the rain finished in the top 3. Wes even did a few laps practicing the rain, and you don't see that very often. I skipped rain practice, that's why I was driving so cautiously when it started to come down harder. As for 4th and 5th, well, you could have put money on it being those 2. 4 out of the top 5 drivers started 10th or lower. Incredible stuff. Even Defiance, who had that early spin sending him straight to 15th, fought back to 6th with the second fastest lap after mine. He clearly had his game face on. But I think someone who was driving even harder than him was Yuchia. Again, go check his highlights out, because from the start he was only pushing forwards. He even passed me on track at the hairpin. Yuchia was putting on somewhat of an overtaking clinic until he got tangled up in that incident with MC West at the tree. Then I think because in his mind he'd only been driving forwards, he was just a bit too eager to get back on with it, straight back on with it. Well then, with me knocking those bollards over, causing a tactical distraction, well, he couldn't make his mind up which side he wanted to go for. He ended up slipping on the edge and chucking himself off the bridge. So I don't know how the hell he got 7th back from that. Likewise, MC West did the exact same thing. He fell off the bridge driving my brawler, which equaled game over, of course, because he didn't have another car to drive, so he ended up quitting. Charles and Manny just made too many mistakes, as did Ryan and Picano, who were in 11th and 12th, right behind the steak sauce with a couple of laps to go, so you had to imagine that they would be pushing to overtake steak sauce, and with their pace they would very likely be able to do it. Well, that was until...
Go for it. Well, this is the positions, isn't it? This is...
Yeah, so blocking him is what we've come to.
Yeah, because you don't want to get him another person in front of us, do you?
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god, Ryan. Oh my god, Ryan. Right, if I lose this now because of you. Ryan, I'm gonna kill you. Ryan.
Easily one of my favourite moments from Children of the Mountain so far, and I didn't even get to hear it live because I mute people nowadays so I can actually concentrate, but when I watched that back afterwards on Picano's and Combo's channel, and I've done a mishmash of the audio and the video from both there, so I really hope you guys don't mind me borrowing them for this clip, but that was just one of the funniest things I've seen so far. Oh man. Well, on top of that, G Gamer you saw coming through in that clip there actually, so he was somewhere between Picano and Ryan. I guess Picano got him back before the end, and Racing Benji fell off a couple of bridges himself, which ended up getting him lapped as you saw in my video. So let's move on to Division 2. Right, now straight off the bat, these guys were driving the Vapid Trophy truck, so any hopes of Division 1 scoring the fastest lap in the brawler were completely thrown out the window. It was Watty who picked up the fastest lap that wasn't a reserve. I believe Crazy Chris actually got the fastest lap for Crow Gamer. But Watty edged out Nima's fastest time by just a few thousandths to pick up those 3 purple points. The fastest overall lap comes in Division 4. But it was BC Eagles guy who picked up another win. I feel like this guy's winning left, right and centre these days, but this is the biggest win of his time in COTM so far because he's finally made it into Division 1 after starting in Division 3 last season, and he's already in the top 10, I believe, in the overall standings. So going into Division 1 with an extra 35 points under his belt is really going to see him positioning highly in the overall standings, so let's keep an eye out for that. If you're wondering why the points for the black names are a bit all over the place, why Crowgamer only has 18 and why Oracle only has 10, well that's because the reserves no longer pick up divisional bonus points or fastest lap bonus points. They just get the points for the position that they finish in, no bonus points applied. I've just watched BC's perspective of this race, which I'll link down below, but it seemed to get underway with a bit of a lag fest from Shawnell and Watty from Australia. They were battling it out with Headshot for the lead, and BC was like, nope, and dived straight into the pits. Smart move, because he overtook everybody in doing so, only reclaiming the lead from Nima on lap 19. I can only imagine that Sean, Watty and Headshot had several collisions with all of that lag that was going on, which is why we see them where we see them, with only Sean scraping his way through to Division 1. Joe WK did a decent job for Oracle, so if you're in need of a reserve and he's not too busy with the waiting list race, give him a call. Lano Lurenko likewise has been doing a great job as people's reserves down in Division 4, but when it came to reserving for Dawson here in Division 2, his skills were certainly put to the test, coming home in 9th. Don't know how, but Headshot lost 10th place to Gaming Easter Egg near the end, which means he's relegated to Division 3 along with Connor and Gonzo, who are falling straight back down to where they came from. Those two made it through last race due to nobody showing up, so at least they've had the chance to experience Division 2, and Gonzo's review of it was something along the lines of, I was trounced, back to D3 I go. Well, enjoy the 11 points before you do go. Rene Fun's reserve finished 14th, so didn't actually pick up any points, and Mo Youngster, who now spells his name with an E to send me a clear message that it's not Youngstar, but Youngster, was away on holiday without a reserve, so no points for him either. On to Division 3 and back into the Brawlers. And we're underway here in Division 3, and oh my word, someone's just straight line turn 1, completely wiping Jakey out. No, everybody's piled into them. Oh god, it's a clusterfuck down at turn 1. I can't bear to watch it. Someone remove my eyes. So, yes, aside from the select few who managed to escape it, I was told there was a Grosjean at Spa moment to open this race, hence the 10-second penalty heading Marcel Wayne's way. But after watching it myself, it wasn't that bad, just too aggressive a start for someone starting on the front row. He misjudged the Brawler's braking capabilities and went for an inside pass at a bit of an impossible angle, so I presume this is how Celtic Pix and J-Beast were able to go from last to podium relatively easily. That and the fact that the pace of the top 3 guys was about 2 to 3 seconds quicker than those around them. The Brawler definitely a harder car to drive than these new grippy trucks we've been given. Anyway, the top 3 were covered in my highlights video. Diggs to Pop completes his fluctuation between D2 and D3 by getting promoted once again, and 80 Horse denied Double Duo near the end, who was driving surprisingly well in my opinion, having only made his debut in Division 4 the previous week, as did KK Fiteni, and he finished just behind Golub, who thanked me for yet another enjoyable race. Always appreciate the kind words, Golub, but it is you guys at the end of the day, the drivers who are putting on these great battles. Although for I'm Awesome 0044, it was a different kind of battle, as he lost control going down the bridge onto the beach, got tapped in the rear by Blazing, then tried to regain control on the beach and got wiped out by Golub. So those 3 all ended their own races really before they began. Tunic, Jakey and Marcel bring up the rear, so Marcel's penalty not affecting his position there, with Skrazor on holiday and UFO driver busy. Oh, how the top drivers can fall in a matter of weeks. Just get a reserve, guys. Right, so speaking of top drivers who have fallen, look at the state of this Division 4. Several recognisable names in there. Apart from Crazy Chris, who we'll address in a moment, at one point in this race there was just this line of trucks coming across the bridge into the dockyard area. From 2nd to 8th this race was amazing to watch, never mind being in it. Even after supply started to pull away, Drubert and Thal were battling, Mini Temper caught them up and got through both of them. There was awesome side-by-side battling throughout the race, according to Mini Temper, who was keeping me well informed on the mic. It just looked fantastic, and the Desert Raids were the fastest things to chuck around IDEKA on this day, which is why Crazy Chris picks up 10 bonus points. To recap, it's 10 if you get that in Division 4, 7 if you get it in Division 3, and 5 if you get it in the top 2 divisions. I don't even want to know what sort of pace Chris was running on a consistent basis, but he was all on his own from about lap 2. Despite starting somewhere in the midfield, he made his way through. Big congratulations to him, but perhaps next time be a little more considerate to those who are still fighting for survival down in 10th and 11th, because as soon as Chris's AI driver took control of the wheel, he planted his truck right into the path of my coming back, ending any hopes he might have had of catching Whitey before the end. I can't lie, I did laugh, as I did when Haz exploded on lap 1. Sometimes I just don't know how these things enter the realm of possibility. It's interesting that Jamie LFC finished 7th, because this guy has been reserving for people in the past couple of races, often finishing in the top 5, even as high as 2nd place in Division 2, yet when he comes to drive his own race in Division 4, he ends up down in 7th, so he had to be disappointed with that. Still, you have made the cut under very competitive circumstances, as has Drubert, also making his debut this round. We say goodbye though to my coming back, Haz, Robomac, Moderated Account, and Jean. So has Chris done enough to catapult himself back into a competitive position in the overall standings? Well, let's find out. I believe he was down in 40th, now he's in 22nd, so 18 positions isn't a bad jump, I suppose. Nor is the jump from 6th to 3rd, which is where I've ended up after my victory too. Look at that. I'm right up there with Frink and you cheer. You'd almost forget that I disconnected from race 1. But that is the way that the system works. There is a catch-up method, and it becomes increasingly more difficult until you reach the top. I was down in the 30s after race 1, now I'm in 3rd. So it's never over. As long as you make the most of your opportunities given to you, you can still come back and challenge the leaders. I'm sure Jodkje, finishing 5th, was not expecting to be jumped on this table by a guy from Division 2, but that's what's happened in the case of BC Eagles guy. That's a strong representation of the talented drivers that have come over from Xbox now. Manny's fallen quite substantially, but I imagine he'll come back with a good starting position, as will Sean L13, who's looking to be starting from 3rd in the next race, but I'll definitely double check that. If we look over to position number 66, we can see the only guy who hasn't driven in a Children of the Mountain official race yet, and he's already on the board with 12 points. It's Me Chatty has racked up some decent points already just by participating in the waiting list races, as have Supply GTA and Thal in 46th and 48th. Your points have been added to your recent race result. And if you're off the table, I am keeping track of your points, don't worry, you just don't make this graphic unfortunately. Right, I think I'm going to end the rambling recap there. I'll let you browse this points table at your own leisure. Now we're completely caught up. I don't have any more videos to make. It's quite a relief actually. I've had a lot of time this week to get these 4 videos out. They do take quite a lot of time. Most of my mornings are just sapped away by these. But I really enjoy making them, and I know it's worthwhile after all because of all the nice comments I'm reading on my highlights videos. So I really appreciate everything that you write on my videos. I don't have time to reply to every single one individually, but I really appreciate all the thanks and the support that you're giving me with these commentaries, which are sometimes a bit out there, but sometimes that's what you need to do to keep things fresh and original. And the best part for me is being able to showcase the quality and the standard of racing that is possible on GTA 5 within an organised community. It's just awesome. So that's going to wrap it up for me, and I will see you on Sunday. No more videos on Sunday on the track. I will see you there.